Jus4sweetz here. So today I'm making a super quick video. I get often asked, how do you do your hair? How do you tease your hair? This is straight from the shower. I don't blow dry it. I kind of just let it air dry. And then I have to flat iron it because I have really full, kind of like wavy, frizzy, natural hair. So it's not this straight. If I just leave it, it's really, really frizzy and weird looking. So all I've done is shampoo it, let it dry, and then I put a little bit of like a Moroccan oil in it, and then I flat iron it. So this is my hair. I have quite a bit. This is my hair flat ironed. And a lot of people, me being in the hair industry, want to know, how do you, get your hair to lift, and how do you get the volume? And then they also want to know, how does it stay? How much hairspray do you use? How much product do you use? That all depends on the type of hair you have. Now, I have a coarse hair. I have a coarse textured hair. I have a lot of hair. So what I would do and what someone with fine hair would do are two different things. So I'm going to show you relatively today basically how to get some lift in your hair and tease the top of your hair. And that just creates that little hump. You have to remember, I am an 80s child and I'm used to having the big poofy hair. So to wear my hair flat like this is like really, really hard for me. So I try sometimes and I do it, but then I feel like, oh my God, I need to lift this up a little bit. So I'm gonna show you guys how I go about teasing the hair. And since it is my profession, it is what I do every day, along with my YouTube videos for hobbies and my Plexus and my Tyra Beauty. I thought I would throw a hair video in there because I've done cooking and I've done crafting and I've done Plexus and I've done makeup and I've done all kinds of videos. So today is a hair video. And all I'm going to show you today is the general way that I lift and style my hair. Now, this isn't every day. This is just to get the lift on top. What I have is a vent brush or a comb or both, depending on your hair, and hairspray. Yep, just hairspray. And I use all different kinds of hairspray. This is the one I have on hand right now. And I always use something that's extra sticky. If you have fine hair, you want to use something that's not so firm, because finer hair, the firm hairspray will actually drop your hair rather than lift it. So you want to get something that's a little bit more lightweight so that you can lift the hair. If you have heavy hair like me, you're going to want something a little bit stiffer that's going to last all day. I don't like to redo my hair. So once it's done, it's done. And I don't want it to move. I just want to get through my day. So I use a stiffer hairspray. But like I said, really fine hair or in between hair, you want to use something that's not quite as much hold. This is exactly what I do. I'm going to look funny for a minute. It's kind of embarrassing to do this, but I figured, hey, people always want to know, so I might as well just make the video. Okay, so this is kind of how my hair naturally parts. Like I said, it's blow dried and flat ironed. So what I typically do is from about the center point of my head, I pull up a section of hair. And being someone that cuts hair, I'm used to pulling up a pretty straight section. And depending on what I have on hand, I either use a comb or a brush. I can do it with either one. So with the comb, I would use the skinny side. And what you want to do, if I can go to the side here, is you want to go down with it, but don't come back up with it, just go down. And you can see that it's creating that rat's nest on each side. You want to make sure it's on both sides. I have the sniffles. I have really bad allergies, so please excuse the sniffles. Okay, so I lift this up, and then after I tease that, I spray all around. Kind of hold that up for a second, and yes, I get this look. I call myself Cindy Lou Who from Whoville. So you won't be able to see me for a minute. Okay, so right behind it, you're going to take the same kind of section. And this time I'll show you how I do it with the brush. I'm going to comb this out. Another section about the same. Here is how I do it with a vent brush. It's exactly the same. Now, you don't get as much tease as you do with the finer side of the comb. They also have teasing combs. You can use those as well. But that's how you you get it the same thing with the brush. Like I said, you might have to work at it a little bit harder, but you're basically coming up, pulling down. Take the hairspray, spray behind it. Now, if you don't want to look like a weirdo like I do right now, you can just take a blow dry it really quick and flip it back. I usually do about 2 sections. Sometimes I do 3, depending on how far back I want my poof to be, or if I'm doing an updo or whatever. So I kind of like, don't have a blow dryer right here right now, so I'm gonna kind of let this dry and look like a weirdo. Okay, and then basically what you want to do is you want to take this section and you want to flip it back. Well, now it looks like really weird, right? You want to gently, you can use the brush or the comb. I usually use the brush at this part. Don't like comb, because then you're going to take out everything you just did. But where it's kind of sticking up, you would kind of brush that down. And with that light behind me, it's really hard to see what I'm doing because of my blonde hair. Okay, so I just kind of comb it back to the way I want it. And if you have any funky pieces, you just kind of move it. So you can see that I'm far more lifted than I was when this video began. Then I kind of take it, lift it up with my fingers, and spray. You don't want to spray on top because then you're going to push that all down. So you want to kind of spray underneath and just move with your fingers. It's very simple. It's not a hard thing to do. But you want to make sure there's enough spray in there that it's going to hold. Okay, so I don't leave this poofy, I promise. Okay, and I have a hard time working, cutting hair, and having all of this in my face. It drives me insane. So sometimes I like to be different, and I'll kind of take this piece because my hair sometimes will part this way, you can see, and I'll part it like that depending on how far over I want to go. And to kind of make it funky, I'll go right behind it, grab another piece, and I'll pull this one over here and then kind of split them. So then you see, and then you're like, oh God, this one's sticking up weird. Okay, take the hairspray, spray on top because you want it to lay down, and it does, see? Okay, so now I have somewhat of a cute hairstyle. Then if you wanted to be really creative, you could take this piece that you flopped over, take it back this way, pin it, take this piece, plop it back this way, pin it, let some of this fall down if you want to. And you have a half up, half down do. Just take some bobby pins, flatten that out a little bit, pin it, and you've got a really cute hairdo that way. I today, however, when it's my clean day, wear it completely down. And now I want to take these pieces that I kind of flip-flopped over, and I want to put, because they're so soft compared to what I have going back there, I want to kind of put a little bit of lift. So what you do is you take that section, just like that, and you are going to do the same thing you did in the back underneath there, only a couple times because we don't want it super high. Spray your hairspray, hold it for a second, and then let it go. And yes, it's going to look like that. We look funny before we look great, right? If men only knew what women went through, and men watching this video, now you know. Okay? You know what happens in the salon when your wife or whoever's in the chair. Or what that, you know, hot chick does that you see on the street, and like, how does she look like that? Well, this is what she looks like when she gets ready. Okay, so hold it up for a second, and look. Now, if I went out like this, I would look like a weirdo. Okay, so then I just kind of comb it down. Like I said, barely. You barely, like I'm not even taking the brush all the way through my hair. You barely want to comb it down. And then I'm going to try to fix this up a little bit. You may, you know, most people will want to look in the mirror, make sure that like things are like clicking and going together. Sometimes I like mine a little piecey. Sometimes I end up with, you know, a funky spot in the back, and the girls at work have to go, hey, did you forget to do the back of your hair? It happens. So then I go back over with this, lift it, kind of get everything that I want. Just use your fingers to try to pull all this through. Don't use a brush or anything. Fingers and hairspray do wonders. I rarely use a brush. I know that sounds weird, being a hairdresser. I use a brush on my clients way more than I use it on myself. Even after the shower, I'll either run a comb through it or my fingers through it. So sometimes I kind of like this side to flip back a little bit, so I will use the brush and push that back because I can't stand that sitting in my face. I don't like my hair touching my face. So kind of lift up, and there you have Great, teased. I think I did okay. What do you think? If it's sticking up in places you don't want it to, like I said, use your hands, move it around. And there you go. Like, I don't like that. That's too lifted. We don't want that. So we'll kind of pull that down a little bit. And you have lifted hair. It's not so flat. I feel like not quite back in the 80s, but not quite, you know, flat, too flat California chick either. So I'm kind of like in between. I like being who I am. And like I said, if you want to have fun with it, just take this piece and pin it this way, and take this piece and pin it this way, and see, and then you've got a really cute hairstyle, and it's all lifted. And the people at the shop, my customers, always ask me if I'm going to hump their hair. We hump it, we don't bump it. So we hump hair, and this is how we do it. So that's my video for today. Something really fun, different. I was asked to do a hair video by one of my clients. So Tiffany, this one's for you. And that is how I get the lift in my hair. And until next time, next video, when I decide what it is that I'm gonna do, have a wonderful day, everyone. And always think positive, and God bless.